We are at question 10 of logical reasoning drill set number 2. And as always, we've got our highlight tool selected, and we're going to go straight to the question stem to identify what the task of this problem is. And we read, which one of the following principles underlies the argument's reasoning? So principal task is really just a fancy strengthener. We're going to have to go to the left-hand side. We're going to have to, as always, identify the conclusion that needs support, and we're going to find a more general principle that provides support as opposed to specific facts pertaining to this individual situation. So, starting from the top of the left-hand side of the screen, throwing a small piece of paper out a car window does not cause appreciable harm. Yet that action is wrong. For appreciable harm would result if a large number of people each threw a small piece of paper out a car window. So, the conclusion should hopefully stand out as yet that action is wrong. Now, recognize that if you have a referent in a relatively succinct conclusion, you'll want to grab that referent for ease of reference as you work through the rest of the problem. So in this case, we want to highlight the action, which was throwing a small piece of paper out a car window does not cause appreciable harm because that action is still wrong for the reasons that come afterwards. So now we want to find some sort of general principle, theory that would support this claim that throwing that small piece of paper out a car window was wrong, even though it doesn't cause appreciable harm itself. So, starting with choice A, any action that causes more harm than good is wrong. Well, we didn't actually discuss any action causing good at all, so we can eliminate choice A, hopefully, rather immediately. Next, with choice B, if one's action leads many other people to act in a similar way, then one's action is wrong. Oh, at least here we're talking about other people, we're talking about similarities, so we'll just hold choice B for right now. Next, with choice C, one's action is wrong if appreciable harm would result from many other people acting as one has acted. This one's a bit more word salady than B, but it's still talking about appreciable harm, which is definitely a term in the paragraph. And we're talking about other people acting in the same fashion. So we'll hold C along with choice B. Next, with choice D, an action is not wrong unless it causes many others to each cause appreciable harm. Well, talking about actions being not wrong. Well, we didn't talk about an action being not wrong. We're talking about an action being wrong. So as soon as I see not wrong, I can eliminate choice D almost immediately. And lastly, choice E, one's action is wrong if it causes appreciable harm. Well, this is in direct contrast to the statement because the opening conclusion says that throwing this small piece of paper doesn't cause appreciable harm. So when something does cause appreciable harm, that's completely out of relevancy for this particular conclusion. So now we're down to B and C. And this can happen. Allow to pass elimination to basically allow yourself to consider two answer choices more carefully. So when you're down to two, you want to look for actions and descriptions, literal verbs and adjectives or adverbs that make an answer choice wrong, as opposed to looking for which one you like more. So if we're looking at choice B, for instance, if one's action leads many other people to act in a similar way, well, it says appreciable harm would result if a large number of people each threw a small piece of paper out a car window in our prompt, but it doesn't state that the single person throwing that small piece of paper led those others to act in a similar way. So we can eliminate choice B because there's a cause and effect relationship that isn't presented in the original paragraph. Whereas for choice C, one's action is wrong if appreciable harm would result from many other people acting as one has acted. It's literally what is stated in the paragraph in the non highlighted portion. And remember, I don't understand the answer choice is never a reason to eliminate. But if we break down C carefully, we should hopefully understand why it is exactly the principle that would support the conclusion of this problem.